in the past at various events and things.
By any means or manner, but I suppose the disadvantage in Galway and in the wider rural
Yes,
area will be different from the
absolutely. For sure, yeah.
our target area in terms of access, because we have, I suppose, we have the responsibility as a university from a strategic point of view of trying to drive students, especially that's where we're dealing with a diverse rural population from now over to the Galway area. So it's a different type of
Absolutely. No, I take your point fully. Hi, how are you?
I've worked here before and program for the lectures diploma, and I also work for the practice around teaching. But my main interest was polyphonic, and I worked in the traffic industry for 10 years ago. Inner city when you're starting to
All right, okay.
it's interesting to know about.
What school were you in?
That's supposed to be.
All right, yeah. Was Ken principal before Ken? Right, okay. Yeah, Ken is very active. Ken, the principal of the school at the moment in Western Road, actually is quite an active character in terms of progressing the educational disadvantage agenda. Yeah. Great, yeah. Thank you.
Kelly Coates, I'm a lecturer and teaching and learning in higher education here in County, so I'm the coordinator of the postgraduate diploma in academic practice, which I am contributing to supporting student learning module, but Lorraine and I also developed service learning simplification module.
Brilliant, yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Well, we're trying to learn, as you'll see later, we're trying to learn. We've been doing a bit of service learning for a couple of years, but we're on the first stage of the ladder and we're learning a lot from you guys here, I have to say, so delighted to be involved. Lorraine, do you want to say a few bits about it? Maybe everybody knows you at this stage.
I'm coordinator of the CKI, and very interested to hear about how
Thanks very much. Just a little bit, I suppose, about myself. I'm in DIT, I'd say, for about 30 years. I was a lecturer in... Sorry, Rita, I never asked yourself. Sorry, we had gone around like that. Maybe you could say something about yourself before, yeah? No, you're fine. We're on Galway time, anyway.
I think the one point maybe about it is very clearly, I'm glad the kind of things we do, but just to give an example, I went down to Stanley Road to the travellers and got them to apply for access and they all ran away things to apply. But one of the women met me, I had to create a funeral, and she came up to me, so I recognised it. She said, I'm sorry, went on to explain why she didn't. I said, will you come on the free access course? And she said, will. So it's very much about group feeling, and it's this year, 6 months. So she and her friend Teresa, who both are coming back on because so it isn't about somebody saying we're here. They won't come in.
Absolutely.
But when it's slow, and I'm working now with Lorraine with the silent seekers, but we're working on pre-access.
Yeah.
I call it something,
Well, I'd agree with you fully, and these are the little, as we said, the subtleties that need to be adopted in order to make the things actually happen. And we're trying to make change within cultures, and that takes time. And a lot of people in the various organizations often say to me, have you got an evaluation done, and give us your statistics. And fine, we can give certain statistics, but there's an unquantifiable quantitative element out there that is more difficult to assess. And it might be anecdotal or through focus groups or whatever, but that change takes time, and it means starting small, building the trust and building the credibility. And Lorraine and I talked about it this morning, and trying to not raise expectations too highly that you can't match. These are things that we have found, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I take your points that you've made around the table here fully, because it's a journey that we're all really just starting on, because government have really only bought into this agenda in fairly recent times. Like, I'm talking maybe 6 to 8 years ago, and it's going to take a long time to take generations. But I must say I'm uplifted by the fact that certainly in inner city Dublin, where values of education, as I say in one of the slides, I mean, they were very, very low. But I sense a big change happening within the very poorer areas of Dublin in the high-density flat complexes. And I feel that's come about as a number of different things. I think the likes of some government programs, the economic boom, the media, the people that are seeing potential for themselves and their children. But also what we've found is in the disadvantaged schools in the inner city, which we work with all of them, there's quite a number of foreign nationals coming in, and they've raised the standards and the values. And I think all of this has had an effect on the communities out there, that now they know now, or they realise now that education is a way for us out of this mess we're in. And I think every parent wants the best for their child anyway. It's just that a lot of the people that we deal with in the flat complexes may not know the systems. And but I take your points fully. Having said all of that, I think we can go home now. I'm, as I said, working in DIT a long time, about 30 odd years, and half of that time was spent as a clinical biochemist. I worked in the hospital sector and then went in lecturing in DIT as a clinical biochemist. As part of that work then, I became kind of engaged with local communities on our doorstep in Kevin Street, that were very impoverished. That one of the schools on our doorstep, they had 3 people in 20 years that went to 3rd level. And that kind of sparked, I'm community orientated anyway in my own personal life. I'm involved in community things, but we got involved kind of on a voluntary level with these schools and started bringing the kids in, doing small things with them and trying to introduce them to, we'd bring them into DIT, into the science faculty, and we'd show them things that they could identify with that might just light the flame, light the spark. Bits like we bring them down to the physics in the basement, the research, and they're making holograms, so identify with holograms, the satellites, maths. But bringing them around and bring them into a 3rd level environment and walking the walk and talking with our young students who would bring them around in groups and just give them a sense that this is a place that you might be comfortable in, and this is what we do. And what we did then, we were talking a little bit about reflection this morning, and as a scientist, I mean, reflection to me was for the birds way back then. It was, give me the figures and da-da-da-da-da. But, we feel it's hugely important now in lots of different ways. But back then, what we did was, initially we used to just bring the kids over, do this piece, and the kids would go back to the school. But then what we started to do was work more with the teachers, and the teachers would prepare the kids, the first-year kids, and these to come over into the college. We'd do the same thing, and the kids would go back to the